Woman of the Supreme Court. Woman of the Supreme Court. Focus question. What contributions have the women of the Supreme Court made to their country? Men and women are equal. For Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 1971 was an important year. She was a lawyer for a case going to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court protects our rights by deciding whether laws following the guidelines created by the U.S. Constitution. In Ginsburg's case, the court would decide if women are equal to men under the law. It is important case was called Reed v. Reed. Wordwise. Cases are named for the two opposing sides. And the V stands for versus, which means against. In the case of Reed v. Reed, husband and wife went to court against each other. That's why in this case, both opponents have the same name. Ginsburg had faced sex discrimination in her own life because she had a young daughter. She had lost the chance to be a law clerk in the Supreme Court. At the new job, her pay was less because she was pregnant. Yet men did not lose jobs or pay if they had children. Ginsburg believed that women and men should be treated equally in school, at work, and under the law. In Reed v. Reed, Ginsburg and others talk about a 14th Amendment. That amendment was added to the Constitution after the U.S. Civil War to protect the rights of people who had been enslaved. At that time, few people cared about the rights of women. Ginsburg argued in Reed v. Reed that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution also protected women from discrimination. Since an Idaho law favored men over women, she argued that the state law was illegal. The Supreme Court agreed with Ginsburg for the first time. They decided that the 14th Amendment did indeed protect women's rights. After this decision, other laws are discriminated against women were also voted and also changed. No longer could women be denied education to jobs because they were women. Out of Arizona. Since the start of the Supreme Court in 1790, its justices had always been men. 10 years after Reed v. Reed, Sandra Day O'Connor became the court's first woman justice. Sandra grew up riding horses on a ranch in Arizona. During school, she also lived in Texas with her grandmother. After law school failed, she found that no one would hire a woman lawyer, so O'Connor opened her own law office. In 1981, the president nominated O'Connor for the Supreme Court because she argued with many of his ideas, but she had a mind of her own. O'Connor was one of the 9 justices serving on the court. Sometimes 4 justices voted one way and 4 voted the other. Her tie-breaking votes helped protect the rights of women and the right to privacy. And then 3 were 2. For a dozen years, O'Connor was the only woman on the court. Then in 1993, the president nominated Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As she had done in Reed v. Reed, Ginsburg continued to protect the rights of women and other groups that faced discrimination. For example, she wrote the court's explanation of why women cannot be denied entrance to any public school. An America success story. O'Connor retired in 2006. She hoped a woman would replace her, but a man did instead. In 2009, however, Sonia Sotomayor was nominated. Sonia's parents came from Puerto Rico. Her father died when she was 9. At 10, Sonia decided to become a lawyer after watching Perry Mason, a show about a defense lawyer. Her mother worked hard so Sonia could get a good education. Sonia worked hard at school to get a scholarship to go to college. After law school, she worked as a lawyer and then a judge. After the president nominated her, Sotomayor said, "The task of a judge is not to make law, it is to apply the law." In 2009, she became the third woman and the first Latina justice on the court. A debt of gratitude. In 2010, the president nominated Elena Kagan to be the next justice. Kagan had been a law clerk for the first black justice to serve on the court. In time, she became the top lawyer on the U.S. government for cases brought to the Supreme Court. She was the first woman in that role. Kagan had never been a judge. However, neither had many of the 111 people who had served on the Supreme Court before her. Plus, Kagan knew that the lawyer was very well. These facts helped her to become the fourth woman justice on the court's history. Kagan is known for being a great writer. She's also a big comic book fan. She combined the two when she wrote an opinion for a court in which she talked about Spider-Man. Professor of the Year. The oldest of 7 children, Amy Coney Barrett went on to become the mother of 7 as well. Oh, well, likewise, she went to Notre Dame Law School and later returned there to teach. She was voted Professor of the Year 3 times. When Ginsburg died in 2020, the president nominated Amy Coney Barrett to replace her. 10 years after Kagan, she became the 5th woman on the court. I have no battery, so I'm going to read faster. Ginsburg believed that the way we interpret the Constitution must change as the country changes. Barrett believes something still